Hello, hello. Welcome back to our goal setting series. Again, this is Casey. We're here with Anchored Women, and today we get to dive in to how you can break your goals down into manageable action steps. All right, we're going to dig in and do the nitty-gritty important work of breaking those big things down into tiny little steps that we can actually make progress on. So I understand goal setting can be fun and goal planning can be fun, but getting started on the actual process of how to start working on those goals can feel super overwhelming. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. I have heard it said that overwhelm is simply not knowing where to start. And I think that is especially true when it comes to goal setting. Maybe you have one project goal and one habit goal for each quarter. If you don't know what I'm talking about as far as project goals and habit goals, make sure you go back and watch the last two episodes because we talked about what project goals and habit goals are and how many you should choose for your year. But maybe you've got your goals set and you are just really stuck on where to start. How do you start? That is where breaking down goals comes in super handy as an essential skill, really, that we all need to develop. So today we're going to chat about how to break down a project goal and a habit goal. They are different. You do not break them down in the same way. And I'm going to send you to our freebie, our Anchored Goal Starter Pack, where we actually have the worksheets where you can visualize, like write out on paper exactly how this goal breakdown process works. So let's start by breaking down our project goals. A project goal, as you already know, is a self-contained goal with a clear beginning and a clear end point. All right. When we break this goal down, we want to break it down into pieces that are also self-contained with a clear start and end point. So picture this. We have a big project goal, and we're going to break it down into, let's say, 4 action steps. And then each action step is going to be broken down into 2 support steps. So you have your big project goal, 4 action steps, and 2 support steps per action step. That is where we're going. So we have some guidelines along the way. Let's start with those 4 action steps. Each action step should have a clear start and end point, should last no more than a day. Ideally, honestly, I really like each action step to take no longer than 2 hours total. All right. And it should feel challenging, but in a good way, not overwhelming. Your big project goal, it might feel overwhelming because it's big. It is hard to think about, how am I going to accomplish this big thing? But when you break down into action steps, those should not feel overwhelming because we're breaking it down into these smaller pieces that we feel like we can tackle. And we're really not going to look at that big project goal anymore. We're going to start focusing in on just the action steps and the support steps. All right. The support steps, let's talk about those. These are a way to break down your action steps even further. So each support step should also have a clear starting and an end point. It should last no more than an hour. My preference is 15 minutes. Ideally, I want a support step to fit into the nooks and crannies of my day. I want a support step to feel like, hey, I could do that right now. I've got 15 minutes. I can tackle that one tiny thing. All right. And it should feel simple, almost more than you think it should. All right. So clear starting and end point, last no more than 15 minutes to an hour, and feel simple. Let's use an example here. All right. Let's use cleaning our master bedroom as an example for this. So the big project goal is cleaning our entire master bedroom. If you're anything like me, that feels super overwhelming. And oh my gosh, because my bedroom is the catch-all for everything that does not have a place in my house. It goes into my master bedroom. So what we're going to do here is we're going to break that big, overwhelming project down into 4 to 6 action steps, okay? You can go as many as 6 action steps if you need to. In this case, I'm going to break it down into 4 areas and then 2 action steps that are kind of like follow-up cleaning, okay? So I'm going to break my whole bedroom down into my floor, my dresser, my nightstands, and my bookshelves. Those are my 4 areas. And then I'm going to add on 2 more action steps. One is going to be to vacuum everything, and one is going to be to dust everything. All right. So those are just more like cleaning steps that are done once my other 4 action steps have been finished. All right. So now I'm going to break down my action steps into support steps. Now remember, our support steps should be small, easy, short, simple tasks. All right. Not overwhelming. So for example, I am going to have 3 support steps for the floor. I'm going to pick everything up off the floor. I'm going to sort it into piles. Where should it go? I talk about piles all the time. We will absolutely do a video on piles, but piles are like my favorite thing in the world. Right now, if I'm just doing a basic clean, I'm going to sort piles into keep, donate, trash. All right, 3 piles. Let's make it simple. So I'm going to pick everything up. I'm going to sort it into piles. And then my 3rd support step is returning everything to its rightful place. The donation bag, by the way, is a great rightful place. Totally fine. So instead of saying, okay, I got to tackle the floor, right, of my room. What I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, right now, all I need to do in these 15 minutes is pick everything up. I can do that in 15 minutes. I can pick everything up, put it on a table or on my bed or somewhere where I can then come back to it and work on the 2nd support step, which is sorting it into piles, deciding where these things should go. Am I keeping them? Am I getting rid of them? What's going on with this stuff? Once I have it sorted into piles, I can easily return things to their rightful place. So as long as you don't actually do this on your bed, like maybe you bring a table into your bedroom or something like that. I use that a lot. I bring like a folding table into any space where I am cleaning, organizing, things like that, so that I have a separate surface in order to do all my sorting on. But if you do that and you don't do it on your bed, you don't even have to do all 3 of these things in the same day, right? If you do it on your bed, which I do often when I'm in my room, you have to put stuff away by the end of the night so you can sleep. But other than that, you should be good to go. So the idea is that it's only going to take me 15 minutes to pick everything up, and then I can stop and walk away and do whatever else is necessary in my home. You know, my kids need me, I'm homeschooling, I'm making dinner, my husband comes home, whatever it might be. I can pick everything up in those 15 minutes. And then when I have another 15 minutes later in the day, I can sort it into piles. And then even later in the day or another day, I can return those piles to where they need to be. So once that's accomplished, I have made significant progress on my 1 action step of tackle the floor, right? And I'm going to do the same thing for the dresser, for the nightstands, for the bookshelves, and for vacuuming and dusting. When I'm doing the vacuuming and dusting stuff, my support steps are likely less important, like less time consuming, right? For vacuuming, I'm going to move the necessary furniture and then I'm just going to vacuum. That's 2 support steps. If I'm dusting, I might clear off the surfaces, dust really well, and then return things to the surfaces where they go. So depending on the action step, your support steps are really designed to support that specific action step. So in that way, they're not going to be the same for each action step. You really want to look at each action step and break it down into its own support steps. Remember, simple, 15 minutes to an hour, and like have a very definite beginning and end time. So do you see how this works? If I look at the floor as just 1 action step, I can still feel like it's going to be a challenge. But when I break it down into these support steps, then I can take 15 minutes to pick everything up off the floor, sort it into piles after lunch, return everything to its rightful place after dinner, and I've done that entire action step in the nooks and crannies of my day by the end of the day. So these support steps, they make the tasks feel more doable instead of overwhelming. And when we feel like we can actually do something, we are much more likely to start it and finish it. And that's the whole point, right? We want to start and finish these goals. All right, that was project goals. Now we're going to talk about breaking down a habit goal. It's totally different. All right, completely different. Breaking down a habit goal is not a one and done concept. It's a new daily practice. And so when we break it down, instead of saying like, okay, I'm going to take this one project and break it down into different pieces, breaking down a habit goal actually requires us asking ourselves 5 different questions. All right. So the first question that we're going to ask is, what time of day is best for this new habit? And in your anchored goal starter kit, you have spaces to break down, and you can print off as many of them as you want. You have a worksheet to break down your project goal, and you have a worksheet to break down your habit goals. Like I said, print off as many as you want and use the action step space to answer these questions. All right. So the first question is, what time of day is best for this new habit? All right. What time of day is best? You want to think about if there is a specific time of day that will really work best for the specific habit that you're forming. Should it be first thing in the morning? Should it be before bed? Should it be during a quiet time in your home? Do you need to be alone? Can you do this habit with your family? Consider the best timing that will set you up for success. The second question is, what can I anchor this new habit to? So sticky habits, anchored habits, they are not ones that are just thrown into our schedule willy-nilly. Instead, they stick on to something. We call them anchoring these goals to something that's already something steady and stable in our day. So is there already something that you do daily, like showering, eating meals, going to bed at a certain time, etc., that you can anchor your new habit onto? Something steady that you do on a regular basis every day that you can attach your new habit to. All right. An example I like to use for this is I really wanted to start listening to the Bible in the morning. And I got a shower speaker for Christmas one year, and I decided I shower every morning, and I decided when I'm showering, I'm going to listen to the Bible on my shower speaker. I anchored my new habit of reading the Bible onto a current habit that I already did without even thinking about it, which was taking a shower in the morning. So think about that second question. What can you anchor your habit onto? All right. Third question, when will I start this new habit? I want you to pick a start date. It might not be today, it might not be next week, but pick the day that you're going to start. Nail it down so you know exactly when your new habit will begin. My best tip is to really give yourself a day or two. Don't just jump into it tomorrow, because you need to get your supplies ready for your habit. All right. And that is actually question number 4. What supplies do I need for this new habit? So, do you need to purchase anything new? Maybe collect some things from around your house. What I want you to do is get all of your supplies together and put them in the location that you're going to be doing your habit in. For example, if you're going to study your Bible in the morning, maybe get a small basket from somewhere around your house. We all have extra baskets lying around, right? Pick a small basket from around your house and put your Bible, your notebook, your pens in it, and then place it where you're going to be doing your habit the next morning. All right, where you're going to be doing that habit of Bible study every day. Set yourself up for success by putting all the supplies that you need in the spot you're going to do it, so that when you wake up in the morning, it's already ready for you to be successful. Last question is, when will I reassess whether this habit is working or not? Okay. This is an important part of developing a new habit. Really, assessment is an important part of what we call our prioritized planning method, where we focus in on what's most important and always come back around to assess, hey, is this working? Is my plan working or is it not? All right. So I want you to put a time on the calendar where you can sit down for 15, 20 minutes and just look at the habit that you're developing and reassess. Is this going well? What might need to be changed? How can I tweak it in order to make it more aligned with what I value and what I really want to work on? So, like I said, we talk about this a lot in our prioritized planning method. And actually, we just did a video on that a few weeks ago. I'll link to that down below. So, breaking down your habit goal really has more to do with answering these questions so that you know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and you have the supplies prepared and ready where you need them in order for you to be successful. Another example is if you're going to start an exercise program, make sure that your yoga mat and your weights and whatever else you're using are in the place that you want to use them in the morning or in the evening, whenever you're going to start. All right. So then, and only then, can we use those goal breakdown worksheets to make sure that for our project goal and our habit goal, everything is written down and you have a written plan for how you're going to accomplish these things that matter to you. And accomplish them in these small, manageable steps instead of the big, overwhelming goal. So once your goals are broken down, you can see how much more doable they actually are. And that is the whole point. We break down our goals into pieces that we can actually accomplish, which builds our confidence and increases our motivation. All right. How many of us have just fallen off the wagon of whatever goal we've set in January by February because we didn't have a great plan of how it was going to actually happen in our daily lives. That's what we use this goal breakdown for. All right. And so I highly encourage you to go download the Anchored Goal Starter Pack if you haven't already, because both of the breakdown worksheets for habit goals and for project goals are included in that starter pack. Now, next week, we are going to talk about tracking our goals. We will talk about how to track our goals through each week, each month, each quarter, and every year, which will help you continue to make progress all year long on the things that matter most to you. So I will see you next week back here for that video. Until then, make sure you download that Anchored Goal Starter Pack and get started brain dumping and breaking down your goals for the new year. Bye, friends. See you next week.